Hey friends, it's Chris from Protect Young Eyes, and it's this week's tech news and trends. This is where Isaac and I go out and we look for the articles that are happening, things happening in the tech space that we think are important to families just like yours. We summarize it and we put it in this little bite-sized chunk. We have 7 things that we want to talk about today, things that we think impact families so that you can, based on what you know about your kids, can help create a safer digital space. Step by step, chat by chat, we want to show you how. Here we go. Number 1, prosecutors have charged a man in Wisconsin for allegedly using a well-known AI image generating software to create thousands of explicit images of children. Now, they're completely AI generated, but they're still explicit images, right? Child sexual abuse material of children. And this is significant, although this has been going on now for a long time. This is significant because this marks the first time that federal child sexual abuse charges have been brought against somebody for fully AI generated content like this. Now, right now, friends, there are over 400 laws that are being proposed in states that are trying to rein in artificial intelligence. We desperately need the federal government to step in because what we have right now is a complete mess. I'm afraid the genie is out of the bottle, and if we don't move quickly, this is just the beginning. We know that thousands of images, illegal images, are being generated every day, every day, and there's just very little we can do to stop it. Now, unfortunately, at Protect Young Eyes, we predicted back in January that the creation of this kind of AI-generated nudifying deepfake images was the #1 issue that was going to impact families and kids in 2024. And unfortunately, I think we might have been right. Now, there are some things that parents can do. We've written a post about deepfakes, 15 things that parents can do to try to mitigate the risk that we hope is helpful as you try to navigate this really tricky space. Number 2, Meta is teasing a copycat feature, which we know it does really well. It likes to copy other social media platforms, but they are copying something from what you could probably get from Snapchat and Be Real, sort of a combination, and Instagram might be calling it Peek, P-E-E-K, which will allow users to send authentic but quick disappearing images that can only be viewed once. Now, disappearing images have obvious risks. Snapchat has been dealing with these risks for years because with amazing but often impulsive young brains, they can be tempted into sending something they shouldn't, especially if they know it's only going to be viewed once, right? Now, I know screenshots can be taken, but this is just another example of a feature that hasn't adequately considered some of the ways in which it can be weaponized against children. We know that Meta can identify nudity in content. They've shown us that through Instagram. We just hope they do something to prevent that from happening if they roll this feature out. We'll keep an eye on it and we'll let you know if it gets rolled out and what you can do about it. Number 3 in the news is that Reddit, which is an extremely popular but very adult both app, and reddit.com is a website that you can go to. They've made a deal with OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, to train the artificial intelligence with content. All of the subreddits and threads that exist in Reddit via API are going to be transported into OpenAI to train its algorithm. Now, this may sound like a good idea for those that are all about advances in technology, but this is a horrible idea when it comes to parents and kids. Why? Because Reddit is notorious for hosting some of the worst parts of the internet. CSAM, all kinds of illegal content that is shared between users with very little moderation. Pornography, graphic, hateful, violent, vulgar content. And what's missing from this partnership is, and maybe they're just not telling us, we didn't find anything, but what's missing in the announcement that we read is anything that talks about what will be done to prevent that kind of content from being shared with AI, when actually that would be training artificial intelligence on child sexual abuse material. Now, you can read our full Reddit app review, which is rated 17 plus in the App Store, so you can learn more about it and what you can do to make sure your kids don't get into it. Number 4, John Haidt has a Substack. He's the author of The Anxious Generation. And his Substack, which is an online blogging platform, is called After Babel. And he recently highlighted 7 Gen Z influencers and inventors and authors who are leading a movement to make changes when it comes to our smartphones and social media. And this is actually what's different than other issues that maybe adults or parents have freaked out about in the past, right? Sometimes people refer to the issue of moral panic, and it was TV or rock and roll or whatever it is. What makes this different than others is that those are consuming it, those young people, or in this case, young adults that are consuming it, are the ones who are also asking for changes because they're feeling the negative impacts. For example, Lars May, the leader and founder of Half the Story. You have Freya India, who's a writer with John at his Substack, but also has her own writing at Girls. She is fabulous. You have Maddie Freeman for No So November, No Social Media November, again, a movement that she started. And these are just amazing stories. I had the pleasure of speaking alongside Lars at the World Economic Forum this past January, and she's just an example of many young adults and teens who are making a difference in trying to get things to change. We just love it when this happens, right? This is multi-generational. This is all of us. Technology doesn't discriminate. All you have to be is human to feel its impacts, and we love that John is highlighting them. Number five, and this one really caught our attention at the Wall Street Journal, written by Julie Jargon, someone who we've worked with in the past. And it talked about, and I want to get his name right, it's by Mitchell Rutherford. And he has taught biology at a public school out in Arizona for 11 years. And he is quitting after the semester because he's tired of trying to engage students who are lost in their smartphones, who simply have no interest of being there in class. And I can tell you that I am fielding phone calls from principals and school leaders, and I've talked to them for years, right? But there's something different about some of the phone calls that I'm getting now. There's a new level of frustration. Why? Because schools cannot accomplish their educational goals during the 7 hours that they control if during the 17 hours that parents control, they are not doing their job of dampening and decreasing the amount of time the kids are on screens. In other words, it's like every day in the morning, teachers are once again trying to grab the attention of kids who have a dopamine cycle that is so tuned to entertainment that kids can't focus on anything. You talk to long-term teachers, and this is what they're saying. According to Mitch, he said that he would try to take their devices away. He said, according to um, the school, they have a policy that says phones shouldn't be out during class, but the enforcement is left to the teachers. I quote, I would walk up to kids and say, give me your phone. And they would clutch it. And I would say, well, that's what an alcoholic would do is if you try to take their bottle away. These are quotes from the article from the Wall Street Journal. So if you're a parent, a teacher, or a school leader, and you want to know a path forward here, just reach out to us. We're doing consulting on these kinds of questions with schools. I am walking alongside school boards to implement policies both at school and at home so that we can do better by our kids. All right, number six, and this one is hard for me to even wrap my head around. And I'm going to do some reading from it because the details are important enough that I want to get them right. But this is directly from an article from ABC News. And it goes like this. It says that social media is housing an online underworld where young girls' photos and videos are being exploited and consumed by men. Now, we've known this has been going on, right? That doesn't sound like anything unique or novel. But what's going on is these are accounts that are being curated by moms of these girls. It says here, often the girls are child influencers or kidfluencers who are using social media for innocent reasons, like showing off dancing skills or trying to secure brand deals. But some of these accounts are being targeted by strangers who lust over them, run by moms who make sexual comments on their pages, and sometimes even download these images, exchanging them on other social media sites. In the worst cases, children's photos, and it says here, are being downloaded and transformed into pornographic deepfakes, getting back to what we talked about before, right? And then uploaded into private chat forums. So friends, here's the deal. As we say to parents now all the time in our parent presentations, there's not an easy answer here. You should probably have a private account if you're going to post pictures of your kids. And what we say is you should post as few pictures of your children as possible and share them with as few people as possible. That is just the unfortunate technical reality that we live in right now. And then finally, number seven, a bit of good news here from a friend of mine, actually. I received an email from Dr. Phil McRae, somebody that I spent time with at the World Economic Forum, and he is the Executive Staff Officer and Associate Coordinator for Government Research with the Alberta Teachers Association, which represents 98% of the 50,000 principals and teachers all across the province of the province, not Providence, the province of Alberta up there in Canada. And what Phil reported to us is that they have passed a resolution that restricts smartphones in classrooms during instructional time now for students in 7th grade and up. It was already going on for the younger grades. Now it's for all classrooms grades 7 through graduation, which is just fabulous news. Friends, if you are considering what this might look like at your school, please just visit phonefreeschools.com where you can see policies and ideas and scripts and research and all kinds of things that you as a school leader can share with your board or you as a parent can share with your school. And friends, there you go. That's this week's tech news and trends. Please follow, subscribe below, or follow us at Protect Young Eyes so you can stay up to date on the issues that matter so we can show you how to make sure your kids have safer digital spaces. Take care.